don't want a good girl till you need one. And you don't want a bad girl till you see one. Looking at the stars like I'm gonna be one. If you know who I am, it's already begun. Now I'm looking at this girl like we should be one. Maybe add one more and have a threesome. She'd be looking at the stars like she could be with one. And if you move into it, then it's already begun. Disciplined stoners. What's your discipline? You a stoner? That's cool. So are we.
I'm high a lot. It's weird to finally say that with pride. I'm high a lot.
This plant just helped me chill out. Found focus. Found confidence. All of a sudden I was productive. Less protective. More progressive. Yeah, we talk about stuff like I'm a next sommelier. But this is about a medicine, baby. We wish everyone a mindful life. It's been a helpful tool for us. And whatever the route to peace, it's each individual's journey. And the more we communicate, maybe we can all help each other out. Love and light. Welcome to Disciplined Stoners Podcast with your host, Ellevan.
And my name is Winnie.
And we are the gateway drug to mindfulness.
And welcome back to another episode of Disciplined Stoners.
I'm your host, Ellevan.
My name is Winnie, and we are the gateway drug to mindfulness.
And today, oh my God, we've collected 2 of the dopest Pokemon in the game. Do you have an intro or do you want me to run?
You run.
Okay, listen, you've seen their place, you've seen them on our story and our media. 2 of the, I just said they're like the in high school, they're the cool house to have the party at. They've also started their own cannabis endeavor. Me and one of them go way back, and another one of them is just like a tremendous killer party. We had a huge 420 moment together.
We did.
Please put your hands together for OPP, Other People's Pot, Amy!
And Alison!
Yeah! I wanted to give you a piece of the intro.
He was going to say Stephanie, don't
No, I
ask.
wasn't. Oh my God. Yeah, I
It's
called
okay.
her.
She's actually the queen of that, so it's okay.
Of
The
wrong
name
name.
mistaking?
Yeah.
The wrong name.
I had no clue I was doing that intro until right now.
Well, it was a great intro, and here's my intro to you guys. Thank you so much for having us. We love what you're doing. We watch what you're doing. It's so awesome to have the conversations. You know, people can feel like, oh, it's industry. It's all the same, speaking to yourselves. But it's like, how do you want us to learn like nobody else is bothering? So thank you for what you're doing.
My pleasure. Thank you so much for
thank
being here. I
you.
love it. I love it. I love it. This is such an important episode. I'm so glad that it's happening. And the fact that we get both of you on at once, come on.
That's that.
Blessings.
I
Well,
know.
we are always together.
Yeah.
And we have lots to celebrate right now.
Yeah, we really do. So, I mean, should we blast
Wait,
off the
yes,
top and just start
please.
smoking
Well,
weed?
we gotta start smoking
Okay.
weed,
Like,
yeah.
have a
'cause-
lighter.
Just like,
Let's get high. I love the
Let's
way you
just,
open these.
why don't we quickly, if we're gonna smoke it, we might as well talk about it.
Talk about it.
okay, let's talk about it.
We all have one, which is cool.
So these are the OPP Budtender Choice,
Sorry.
0.5 sativas.
Miami Spice.
Miami Spice is the cultivar, which is a cross between
Super Lemon Haze and Sour Diesel.
2 of your very faves.
Delicious. Farnesene, limonene, lots of caryophyllene. And
What are the qualities of farnesene? Because I feel like I really enjoy that terpene, but I don't know much about it.
People describe it like the green apple peel, which I understand if you take away any sweetness at all. So it's kind of like a different earthiness. I find with these joints, you almost taste it. You'll taste it a lot when you light it, but even more towards the end. So that taste that gets stronger, that's what it is.
Okay.
And I people say green apple.
Yeah, that I understand
very
that actually.
popular right
Yeah.
Totally taste that right now.
Oh my God! And then when you fucking smell it, there's green apple in there for sure.
Yeah. So we've kind of we've taken the high THC, low price approach with this joint because we've been in the market for a long time and we know kind of what sells, and we wanted to create something that was, easy for our budtenders to talk about, for our retailers to stock.
Yeah,
but
you have a little bit of data.
we got some data. We've been working with data. But we also did not want to shy away
Joint
from
down, joint down.
terps. Yeah, joint down. We love terps, so don't be, mistaken by our high THC, low price. These are some terpy little bad boys.
On
And
that green apple, that is exactly getting me.
Did you come up with Pocket Rocket together?
Oh
So-
my God.
the fact that
That's
that
your
has
first
even-
question is
the fact
hilarious.
That has made its way into the
I manifested it.
Discussion.
is that that was originally what we wanted to call it, and
Oh, just to be clear, I was like, we love Pocket Rocket. We love the name Budtender's Choice, which is what it's called. So I wanted to call it like Budtender's Choice, Indica, or Sativa, Miami Spice, Pocket Rocket. And everyone was like, Alison, you can't name it all these things. Somehow, we don't know how, it got taken off of everything that we sent to the OCS.
Oh my God.
As far as we know, it's showing up in half the places as Pocket Rocket, Budtender's Choice.
on High Buddy,
Oh,
it's available
shit.
that
I
way.
love
so
that.
somehow the universe picked it up and said, "These girls are gonna own it." We really,
Well, because
we
come
love
on,
it.
we
We've
love
been
a
talking
pocket
about it for
rocket. What
years.
woman doesn't love a pocket rocket? And it's just like a
How
0.5
could that have
joint.
happened?
So
Oh, because maybe it made its way onto one present. I don't know.
it probably found its way.
Maybe in a
into
pre-call or
That sounds kind of magical.
It's an OCS. It's a happy mistake with the OCS.
But truly, they're
sometimes
listed as
it-
Budtender's Choice, and I'm sure we're gonna have to fix this mistake. So
No, that's a
just
smart
know
name.
we did Pocket Rocket first, and that's where we're going. Pocket Rockets.
This tastes
Power
good.
to the women in the pocket rockets.
That's right.
The empowerment, do it yourself. So, you got, and I love it, and we'll keep talking about the
Yeah,
tweet.
we don't-
It's,
I mean,
it's burning
yes.
beautiful white
Thank you.
ash. That I can't believe the price point.
Okay, well that's what I
Like,
was gonna
that's
say.
insane.
Yeah.
It's delicious and it burns well, and it's.
I like
just
this,
what does it usually retail at?
It should be. We would love people to be out the door taxing for like $5, but I
Come
think
on.
because it's really great quality. See, the whole thing.
might bump it up
Let
a
me
bit.
backtrack and say, some people who know Amy and I might find it, strange that we're playing in more of a value category because we've been,
You're immersed in some of the greatest players
we've
in
been
the
in
game.
all of this for a long time, and we love really
from
amazing
Legacy. Mm.
craft weed and legacy and all of it. So, but we're 10 years into the legal market, as our careers. And at this point, it's kind of like, what do people want and what do people need?
You can't
and
neglect that data,
Right.
that retail out the
And-
door.
yeah,
and
we
people
don't
should
wanna-
be able to get high
it's-
for less than $10.
Exactly. And it's also time to for us to listen to the market and do something that we know is going to work because we've taken a lot of risks and
You ride the
it's-
edge wave,
yeah.
and I wanted to get into that. I want to know how you guys met, how this synergy happened,
Right.
and you guys both hold this beautiful, very strong yet very divine feminine energy. And I love the energy that you have in your space and you hold in your
Thank
space
you.
and the way that it goes down. And no matter how vast the guest list is, everyone seems to come together on your vibe and get that intention. But y'all are some ass kickers. And, we can get into how I met. I used to buy weed from Amy's store in Legacy's days.
Amy opened one of the first stores in Legacy in Toronto.
Matt Myrna brought me there. So it's just a
Got an
realist of the
OG.
realist, So please tell me, you guys, your
Yeah.
time and how you met, how that came together.
Well, we met it was actually those days that I first heard about Alison through the store. Somebody gave me a flyer for an event through Rethink Breast Cancer with Bubble Man and some
This is
awesome
2014.
women
We're
and,
talking.
some awesome women and some patients were there as well. And I kind of, really wanted to see what she was doing, but it wasn't for a couple of years that I really got a hold of her and managed to join the team at 48 North. I had been, in the legacy side. We became friends. I was selling the Bull Rider and some other really amazing high-end weed. And
bull rider, yeah.
that was a lot of fun. I saw firsthand what patients, were getting out of this plant, and it was amazing. But joining an LP, there were steps in between all of that. But joining the LP was really when I got to, just dig in and understand the process of getting something to market and how you can really create brands and marketing. In
Which
the store
LP?
you saw, we had
So
everything
that was
was a
48
knockoff.
North, right?
Okay.
So what
Yeah.
Amy's saying, our journeys that led us together were, as Amy said, she was in Legacy doing a lot of the hard work that helped get us to where we got to.
And representing.
And
Showing
representing.
that it was possible.
I was one of the founding team of Weed MD. We're talking
sick.
2014. And then we went when there were the delays with the government after the injunction was filed by the ACMPR or MMAR growers. I can't even remember anymore. And they were and Weed MD had yet to be licensed. We were we better go like raise some money and get assets in the U.S. if investors are ever going to make back their money. So we purchased a store in Los Angeles that we sold to MedMen. That was their first store. So it was very early times, right?
The
MedMen, the apple of weed.
That's
the
right.
Apple Store
That's
experience
right.
of
That's
weed
right.
in LA.
Yeah,
Which
like-
one,
Yo.
on Santa Monica?
Yeah, on Santa Monica Boulevard in West Hollywood.
I've been to that one.
Yeah, across from the Woods. Plug for my friend Thomas's store.
Shout out the Woods. Fuck
on
yeah.
Santa Monica Boulevard. as
Let's
well.
go. Okay, I
Yeah.
got a $25 pre-roll. There was the most I spent on a single unit of
Oh my God,
cannabis ever.
it's crazy.
It was at the
it's
checkout.
crazy. Well, yeah, I know. So that leads me to ultimately taking over a company that had a facility, no license, and was going bankrupt called Delshen. I wound up taking over this company, rebranding it 48 North. And Amy said a few years, but time is so warped in our industry that it was probably like within 3 to 6 months from you seeing the panel. I was at a movie that a friend's daughter had made, and this adorable bundle of energy came running up, and she's like, "I'm gonna work for you," and I was like, "Cool," because like, ooh, let's do this.
Cool.
And so she came, and we interviewed her. We were like, "Yes, you're gonna work for us," and she was like, "I'll be back from Thailand in 3 weeks." I was like, "Okay, this is my soul sister. This is my soul sister." So Amy was one of the first 6 people that I hired to ultimately be 48 North, and together, you know, we took the company public. We raised $70 million for the company. We did a lot of things.
We
but
won
Amy,
brand of the year with
brand
no
of the year
product
with
in-
no product in market, other than wholesale.
Yeah.
It was different times. But Amy, through those years, I saw like she was always super smart, a hustler. But like, here's someone who knows good weed. I could be out, like I had to travel 1 million miles a year. You're running a public company. And Amy was always like, it was like, if Amy's there, weed is not getting out the door that her and I wouldn't approve. And
Like
not
your
just
curation.
that, but like we were in the top 5 SKUs in every market we were in, every province. And we were like up against the big times of Canopy and everybody. And we were not that. So it was like, Amy, you've got a special magic. Let's start other people's spot.
Yeah, the pulse of the culture.
Relationships, just, you know, getting out there and wanting to move great weed and getting in people's hands, which is like what I've been doing since I joined the industry in 2014, I guess. So,
Yes. Okay.
yeah.
So
And-
you want to work, and then you guys partnered up. How long was that between you running up to her? Sorry to cut you off. I want you to say that. But when you ran up to her, said, "I'm going to work for you," to the point where you guys became partners in OPP. How long was that?
A long time. Like I was at 48 North for over 3 years, and you were running it for quite a while, and I joined you a few months later. So yeah, it was 3-4 years that we got
I mean,
to
like,
work
I'm
together.
not-
and know
Be
each other.
patient, folks.
Yeah.
Be patient.
It's true.
Stay adamant. Keep the vision. Be patient.
You never know.
Sometimes also act fast if it's not right, right?
Yes.
No, talk
Like,
on that.
yeah, trust your instinct. If your
Sometimes you
instinct-
got to dip.
Sometimes you got to dip. But in terms of like success, 100% you have to be patient. Like there, you know, like with the podcast, like every week.
You
It's
knew it
3
was
years
right.
now.
Yeah, exactly. But she knew it was right because it was you. So you followed
Yeah.
people.
It's all like
That's
with
right.
weed. Like, why are you going to be in this industry if not to just be with great people and
Do it with
Yeah.
people you like.
At this point,
yeah. Well,
the-
ever like
yeah.
that's why I came here. That's why I wanted to be part of this industry. Is like let's find a way that I could definitely be pretty much on the same level or mind frame as the people I'm working with. And I quickly found out that was not necessarily the case, but you know, I knew my people were definitely in this industry, and so when I saw Alison, I had to jump on the opportunity, and we had a really fun time and a really great team at 48 North, and we had a really authentic culture, and that's what, you know, we were able to build amazing brands, products. Like Latitude was something that we built before we had products for 2 years, and that allowed us to launch. And Winnie, why don't you talk about that?
Yeah,
one?
that's the intimacy oil. And I was at 1922, the retail store, when it first came out. And I was
Right.
like, I was doing the buying for them. And so when I first saw it on the OCS, I was like, I know that this is like, you did 6 in a case. So it wasn't like a
Right.
crazy investment. But for a indie store who's new, it was a little bit, there was hesitancy there. And I was like, I don't know, like this fucking...
Well, that
oil,
launched
like-
after my time, I have to
And
say.
it was after mine too. But I think the thing I'm most proud about that is that we created Latitude
Yes.
as a magazine, a platform. We had women from like doctors, lawyers, producers, not cannabis women, come and speak their truth in this magazine form. It was something you could give to your grandmother. It was something you could give. It was very beautiful. And then that became this product line. So it was really great to see something evolve. And it's kind of similar to with Other People's Pot, where we were out there repping all these other great brands, and now we're doing our own thing.
Yeah,
And I
you
think
are.
that was really the point to say that this isn't our first time launching a product. So when we launched our very first product as 48 North, which was the Granddaddy Purple, we were the first actually to do the 0.35s. And the thing about that that's so funny is
Wait,
like...
what?
Yeah,
48
we were
North.
the first to launch the
Yeah.
0.35s. Everybody was either doing grams or half grams, but I've been known as the queen of the roach because even though I've been daily smoking for
The
too
queen
many
of the
years,
roach.
like since early high school,
Yeah.
so let's not talk dates. I'm not saying I came up with it. When it was pitched to me, I can't even remember. I think Mike Langbert was the one who was like, do a 0.35. And I was like,
Rich
yes, because
Meloff.
all I do, or Rich Meloff, and they brought it back. And I was like, yes, so you don't have to have a roach.
Yeah.
And but
And they
now,
were also, I don't know if it was the first, but they were long and skinny and they looked nice. That was
Yeah.
another piece that it made
and
them.
we used the recycled cardboard and we
Yeah.
did put paints on it. It was just a craft thing, which no one had done. So
That
you know,
Granddaddy Purple did well at my
Right?
store.
Exactly.
That one. And when we couldn't get any more, there were regulars that were like, I can't get this shit
that's
anywhere.
the worst part. It's about to happen, unfortunately, to us because it's
but not
just
for a long period of time.
no. it's out of stock for
Harvest?
moments.
A week and a half.
It's harvest.
Yeah, week and a half.
We're doing a plant. We're dealing with biological matter.
Exactly.
Shit fluctuates. It's
But-
not like creating plastic cup holders.
We're working hard to be
is not
very
mine.
consistent. That's something that we feel is number one.
Of course, that's the
and
goal.
So,
the goal. But the other piece is with stuff that we've proposed for the future. So I guess there's no point in speaking because you got to get approved to have products in market. If anybody that's watching this is not in the industry, the government tells you whether, yes, if you're hey, I want to launch a glassware line and it would make sense to do one that's shaped like this and then another one shaped like that and then a mug version because that's how people buy or plates. But you put that all in as a portfolio and they're like, we'll give you this one and the plate. And you're like,
That's
okay,
so
but could I at
funny.
least get 2 glasses? And I do not blame them. You people, love all of them.
They
Amazing.
gotta be
It's a
discretion
difficult
somewhere.
system. What's the option? Because they are a monopoly, not their fault again. But if you tell somebody no because you gave somebody else their whole beautiful plate portfolio, then somebody else will not have a business at all. So it takes time to build it up. But in that time, what we're looking at is
Gotta break a lot of
what we've
hearts.
been able to do with the Budtender's Choice. Again, this isn't like a sales pitch. This is just me being real, which is, okay, how are we going to have good weed at the price we know it has to sell at? Well, you've got to have a rotating SKU because we can find odd lots. We know that between Amy, myself, our crew, we can try the weed. That's what we have to do. I know that people are watching going oh, hard job. But trust me, when you have a million things on your list to get
Karma
yourself
cup,
out
it
to
was
the-
a lot.
Well, that's, yeah. So you're not trying that many, but we're picking it and then it will rotate because the reason you're getting it at the price, we're getting it at the price that we can pass this, it along is because it might be an odd lot or a small lot or whatever it is. So it's starting to understand the terpene profiles and being able to match with those so that you can buy it, get the good price, but know that you're going to have a similar feeling. So for us, I don't know how you guys are feeling about terpenes. What are your thoughts?
Oh, I'm a terp geek, 1000%. I'm when I hear that the majority of the flower market is THC shoppers. I'll be at other retail spots and I'll hear someone do it and I'll be like, my guy, do you have a little quick minute for a conversation? And then I'll just be like, so this is really cool. THC is definitely a component. You look at your pantry
Right.
and you're like, it's the pasta. I always want pasta. I'm gonna keep that as a staple. But the tomato sauce you put on it, or maybe the Alfredo. I'm trying to make all these food analogies right now, but basically, I'm always what you're feeling from smoking has you think it has 90% to do with the THC, and what the fuck are percentages anyway? You think it has mostly to do with THC? It has way less to do with THC and more the entourage effect of how your specific body is interpreting and manifesting the
this is
effects
a fact.
of the terms.
This is a
I
fact.
want to
Go ahead, Abe.
describe it in a way that was described to me way back in the day at 416 Medicinal where we met.
Yeah, bud.
Which is let's say you have a car and you want to drive it down the road, you need a map, you need to know where to go. So the terpenes are the map. It tells in your car is the THC. The terpenes tell the THC where to go in your body. Something that goes to your head, it's going to open those receptors, and then you're going to feel that in your head. When you smoke something with a lot of linalool, you're going to feel that in your body, just like when you smell something lavender. It makes a lot of sense. It works, and it's crazy that it's not like front and center. But
I hear you, and that was such a beautiful way of explaining it. It's like sorry, what were you going to say?
I was just going to say that Sage made an entire business off of utilizing terpenes for ailments. Like they have a pocket pharmacy.
Right.
And it's like there's one for upset stomach.
Right.
And
and
this shit works.
you could take it a step further, and the reality is that is because you have endocannabinoids too in your body, and you need to supplement your receptors. So if you're opening up certain receptors with a peppermint or a linalool, lemonade, or like whatever these different fragrances are, it's going to allow your endocannabinoids to work better within your body. So it actually is all about the cannabinoid system, and
But also the minor cannabinoids too, which is where I would never say two with the same terpene will be this exact same. And, everything is everything. But just to like put it out there to everybody, it's like if there's a strain, a cultivar that you love, that you always buy, let's say I love the Carmel Animal Face, I do. It's just not possible that every time it's grown by multiple growers. It's going to be the exact same. And that's got to be okay, to your original point about the plant. But if you're going to base it off terpenes, but you're buying different stuff, the minor cannabinoid count might be different. But you're just trying. We're trying.
Totally.
Yeah.
Well, I liked. Sorry, just for I remember the thing. The way you put it with the roadmap, and it tells it where to go. I can almost intuitively sense that from a creative perspective, because this is a vibrational plant. Everything is vibration, and when I smell pinene and citronine, they're probably on the sativa side, the bright side, how they literally viscerally affect you. When you smell gassy and sweet and dense, it's probably going to ground you. It's all kind of synesthesically aligned, and that's what I feel more of the like feminine perspective of it. You can almost feel your way into it like food, but like right now our little beautiful plant is expanding in its masculine consciousness, being quantified by percentages and tubes, and so like you know what I mean, like it and it has to be
it's so
right now.
interesting because
It's actually phallic.
as women, like people want to talk about it. Yes, it is.
What? Sorry.
Well, people want to talk about cannabis as a female plant or being women in the cannabis space, but it's like, I like to have that conversation because I want other women to feel comfortable and I want to pass that on. But at the same time, it's like, there's so much inherently feminine anyways about what we're doing. I don't think it needs to be called out in such a broad way.
But
I like the way you're talking about it. I think that's
from a perceptual
cool
way
to
of,
talk about
of
it.
how we see it. But yeah, exactly. Like it has to be balanced. To reach a full expression of anything, it has to be balanced. So it's just doing a little more work in that like data reconfiguration of its perception right now. But I think once we're done doing that, or at least get a grasp on terps and be able to explain it, quantify it, so your average physician, like if I go to see the physician, which is rare, he asks me about weed effects and mushroom effects because I admittedly, and so it's like it will quantify itself and it will get back to perceiving, I believe, in the feeling state. We just have
I want to add one more thing about the terps because it's interesting and like nobody's talking about this, and we're moving now to these terpene percentages to now like describe how it's going to make you feel or how strong it will taste. But a 0.01 of something and a 0.5 of something else could, or a 0.5 of two different terpenes could have a completely different expression. One could be a very strong smell, one could not. So I think
But hold on, I have to interrupt right here to point out this is my Pine Sol or our Pine Sol or lemon, whatever example with
Pinene,
Mr.
citronine.
Clean. Mr. Clean Lemon Cleaner, like just know those are botanical terpenes at a certain concentration. So the fact, look, I don't know what to say. And when you see our product with a botanical terpene, you're more than welcome to be like, hey, but I overrided all this with saying we're giving the people what they want. Priority one. Priority
Nice.
two.
Fuck yeah.
Priority two is just to educate people so you can make the choices that you want. But I would say, yes, those are botanical terpenes at concentrations. No, nobody has tested at those levels what would happen if you smoked the Mr. Clean.
Yeah, what
But
do you think is the long-term effects of that? Because it feels pretty interesting on the throat.
It doesn't matter where the terpenes come from. If there's too much of a specific one, it's still a
Exactly.
chemical. Like
Right.
too much limonene or pinene definitely feel concerning. But I don't know the science. I don't think you know the science.
I
of
don't know
that.
the science, but all I will say for the question that you are asking
Mm-hmm.
is the answer is probably this. If you are smoking a joint or something that is like infused or somehow has a lot of botanical terpenes, and it really, you're like, wow, it actually tastes like that thing, and that thing's like it's strawberry or I have no idea, then you can know that there's a high concentration of some botanical terpenes. That's it.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah,
it.
I got all excited about botanical terpenes when they first came out because I was getting a high that I hadn't experienced before, and then after a little while, I was like, I haven't experienced this before, and I think it's for good reason.
It's also distillate. That's why, because all
Yeah.
those are matched with distillate. So
Yeah.
Right.
you're getting that like really kind of hard
Yeah.
hitting
THC.
high.
It's
Eventually,
like
I would-
THC high.
Yeah, I was like, no, I don't enjoy this anymore.
And there is the magic of cannabis, where there is something about cannabis terpenes and THC that definitely interacts differently than
Yeah.
like botanical ones and THC, and that's probably a scientist at a molecular level like wouldn't agree. But I think it is that entourage effect and all the other minor cannabinoids that make its way in when you're looking at something that's full spectrum rather than just like THC and terpenes.
Yeah.
Exactly, but I get it. But the distillate, it goes back to your point, right? That's almost the proof of what you were saying before about the entourage effect. Is I don't think there's anybody that smokes, has smoked distillate, whether in a joint or in a vape, that wouldn't say like maybe it gives them a headache, maybe it doesn't. They know it's distillate. You know it's distillate. Well, that's
Yeah, it
just
gives me a headache.
THC. That's the molecule right there. So if you yourself know that when you smoke distillate, it's different than when you smoke flower, then right there's your answer about the entourage effect.
Right.
Well, and further, like it's CBD. It's, when you have a little bit of CBD, it can go a really long way to cutting away some of those like, paranoia, anxiety, negative effects that cannabis can have. And that's really because we've bred it for THC for so long. And
It
I
balances
think
itself out.
let's I don't know if we want to just
Holistically.
keep going on this cannabinoid, but the last thing I'll say is it's crazy that with legalization, I think we all thought let's bring back the other cannabinoids, which we're seeing in, their own kind of categories, but still breeding for THC. It's crazy.
That's what I'm saying.
Crazy.
Holistic perception of this miracle medicine. I'm a conspiracy theorist, I guess. Give me 6 months and I'll be a fact. Sorry, but it's like I think it's like kind of goes against the agenda to uncover all of the healing properties of the plant if you had the ability to perceive it holistically. Like if you were like, whoa, smoke this with this type of syrup for your body type, just like a dietitian can go like, your body type, don't eat nuts like before 7 or something. Like,
I'll,
you know what
I'll
I mean?
take
Like,
the conspiracy even almost further because I think this plant is so magical.
Yeah.
I think sometimes I start to think, it tastes so good. It makes you feel so good just to kind of get you into it so that we can start to understand everything else. Because I think we're about 5% of the way there, maybe way less than that.
Yeah.
It's like,
I agree.
we are this, when you
It's
look
the
at
tip of the
hemp, when you
iceberg.
look at what we can do, what we
It
can
threatens
make out
so
of this.
many industries.
Well, what
It
can we make
threatens
out of this plant?
fuel.
Everything.
Yeah, but it's
Steel.
clear that the plant doesn't want to be mass produced. So, I
Right?
mean, although,
It has its
listen,
own-
I want to
Maybe
say
under
positive
the-
vibes. Hold on. Got positive message to send out. Are you ready, everybody?
I'm ready.
I really believe, as do a lot of the people that I trust and care about who only have bought Legacy, like heavy users, that the cannabis in the legal industry is getting way better.
It
It is getting
Yes.
better.
Right now.
Absolutely.
Oh,
Like
it
you
is.
can,
That's how
with-
we're able to do this.
Yeah, you.
Yeah.
couldn't have done this a year ago.
Yeah, you couldn't
no,
have done this.
no way.
Sorry,
I'm glad
maybe
that-
I'm just jaded that I'm like
No,
big
no.
news.
But the-
news.
No, that
No,
is
no.
big news,
You
and it
guys-
should be celebrated.
Yeah, and you've been waiting it out with the rest of us who knew what the weed was like on Legacy. It's been a lot easier for a new legal user that, as soon as the law changed and their brainwash ego allowed them to be like, oh, I'm going to poke around this now because the law says it's okay. I'm sorry, I'm being a dick, but
I don't know. That's the
I'm
thing
just
that
joking.
always amazes me. How many people? It is actually
No,
true what
there
you're
is.
saying,
Retail
which is
will tell
cool.
you.
Like I think it's cool because I cannot follow a rule. Like it's best
No,
not to tell me a rule.
I'm with you.
Right?
We're the
Right.
we're
So
the-
when I
yeah.
was like, who cares? Like as if, okay, more people are going to come because they didn't buy it was legal. You could go any store, you could go anywhere. And then people are like, I tried it because it was legal. I was like,
Yeah,
What?
no, I know. You forget about like that's like a good share of the market, like 20% of people that just like, oh, it's okay now, cool.
Well, I think
But-
a lot of older generation.
Right?
I've heard it from like
They
Or
literally
they just
thought-
decide, they get inspired, they see it on the news like every single day. They haven't smoked weed in 30, 40 years. They're like,
Yeah.
oh,
that's
maybe I
what it
should
is.
try.
That's
like,
what it is.
Yeah.
And
they
it doesn't
just-
have to be
it's-
older.
Everyone, it's like they're at a party again, but the party is the news.
Yeah.
And they're in their bed and they're thinking like, I should be on.
I should be
smoking
on
right
weed.
now.
So,
Wait, what did happen to weed after
good idea.
university? Why did I give up on this thing?
so you guys have the right to be jaded because you not jaded, but like with as far
No,
as the weed
thank you,
quality
actually.
goes, because it's like you've known the good legacy weed for all that time and had to watch this thing be publicized on like a commercial scale at like very poor renditions of it.
Oh no, we were part of that.
Well, but we
Actually,
know.
we were running
But
you know,
I-
100-acre outdoor.
Were-
Was one we have
were
one of
you
the first
smoking
outdoor
legacy?
licenses.
Well, yes.
I will not answer.
I will say, like, I smoked a lot of legacy into legalization,
Shame
and
on you.
it's hard to get more than 30 grams at a time from
Right.
a
True.
legal store. So that's one roadblock if
Right.
you're like traveling or going on, going to your cottage or whatever it
just
is.
need a
Also,
bunch
don't
of
forget
weed.
it was first
Now there's a lot
medical.
more stores,
First, it
which
was
is nice.
medical. When
Right.
we first started
But-
48 North, we were medical, and then
right.
I
rec
wanna-
came. Go ahead.
Like, yeah, what about the weed that
Yeah.
I sold back then?
Yeah,
and that we
exactly.
smoked. Like, you can't really still find that
That's
yet in the
bomb.
legal market. And
Super bomb.
Yeah.
But now what we're seeing, like to that point, like it was companies that had the big funding, right? As you said, you guys were competing with like Canopy in the early days, and like these kind of giants. Like it felt like when legalization started, it was like kind of came out like Walmart's, And now I'm seeing like we just had the drip on, right? So it's like more indie cultivators. We had Primo on. Like we have people who are kind of getting a shot now, and it's taken this long to unravel that coil of that
And there's
strange
been some,
gatekeeping. So that's why I think we're seeing better.
Casualties.
Oh my God,
so
there's
many
so much to
casualties.
say about this.
Yeah.
I think just to keep it somehow concise is to say like so much sadness and all of that. It's like I'm so dramatic,
I know.
but because
Sorry,
I
had
think
to
about
say
is, though.
It
today,
is.
I was thinking about the amount of money lost. That money came from somewhere. It doesn't just appear out of thin air. It's somebody's life saving. It's somebody's this. It's somebody that. Nobody did this maliciously. I shouldn't say that. I didn't do this maliciously. That's all I could say. Did I believe things that I now recognize to be naive, not just in my own business, but in the industry? Do we understand that the plant seems to have a life of its own in terms of all these things? Did I know? No. And that was the price of the industry. So
But the awareness and the fact that you're in it and you've become part of a space and an organization and a brand that is a platform for other brands to benefit and grow on.
But
Like,
48 North was always that. Like
you're
we,
still in it.
we acquired at like you guys know Sackville. There was a point we were like these like Lana and Haley from Sackville. If you don't check
Cool.
out Sackville on Instagram, they've got wicked accessories. You should have them on. You will love them. They're in New York. Haley's here actually. So we were like, that's super cool. Why do we have to copy what they're doing? Because it was like, I want that cool stuff. And so it was like, that's why we have a company that's public. So we can say, hey, if you believe in me and you believe in the team and people like Amy, like, let's do this deal. And you can do that as a public company. You can acquire with the paper that is your company. It has some value, right?
How do you know that stuff? How do you know how to start a company and stuff?
Like
Are
everyone's
you-
like, what's the fuck's going on?
Do you have a business degree? Are
Guys,
your
should we
parents
do it different?
entrepreneurs?
Should we do another, like, should we do a session live and people can come and we can just talk about career stuff and teach people the language
No, but
of
just
this?
yes, we
Yeah,
can. But
that's
I'm
like
also saying like, why are you a bit of a business genius?
I'm not.
She was the CEO, the only female CEO of a public cannabis company.
Let's go.
She raised $70 million for 48 North.
I'm giving you the
Well,
pounds
with
right
a
here.
like team of people.
She got
Okay.
it.
But the
you
sad,
know?
there's still the
no,
sad
but
part.
as the leader, she,
The
got
sad-
it
like, let's-
licensed, sales license, took it public.
So you earned by
battled
doing?
like
how
through
were
a
you
lot
in
of
that?
difficulties. It was a very hard time. She took on a co-CEO, which is super humble. Like
Whoa.
lots of lots of experience and lots of really deep experience. And
Right.
I was
like,
triggering deeply.
Sorry, oh my God. I was
Yeah,
like,
the
whoa.
I said it just to say like
Yeah,
you're very,
I did.
It was a very
I was
humble
like
move.
open.
Yeah, it's
I was
respect.
like, let's be co-CEOs because at Rethink Breast Cancer, I had partnered with MJ Dakota, who had lost her mother at a young age to breast cancer, and she wanted there to be something for breast cancer back in 2001 that wasn't like pink ribbons and teddy bears. And I met her right away, and I was like, I believe in you. Let's do this. And we shared like that office power, everything from day one. So I was like, you can share power and leadership.
No, but
In
also
the
you
for-profit
learn.
world, can't you?
Yeah.
So
But-
before that, what did you do in order to get into that position? Like, how did you
Okay,
know?
so that's the answer is that I essentially co-founded Rethink Breast Cancer, but truly on MJ's, like, I know I want to do something and me being like, I'm in. And
So you're just a go-getter, and then you learned along the way.
Well,
Sick.
okay, I could ask you the same question.
yeah,
what
that's-
experience did you
I'm-
have doing a podcast before you did this podcast?
No, I'm identifying. Well, I was a content creator for like a decade and like learned from a bunch of people who did it successfully.
Oh my God, I'm about to blow your mind. This is going to blow your mind. Winnie?
I'm ready.
Are you ready for this? And all of this that I'm talking about, did we have the internet, Rob? We might have had early phases of an internet, but there was no like, I'm going to watch a YouTube video on
Yeah,
how to
right.
start a charity. Like
Right.
there was no YouTube. That's for sure.
Yeah.
In 2001. Am I
No.
right?
Yeah, no. It was
Sorry, we've got
2006.
Rob in the back. He should be like
Yeah.
Gelman from Regis and Kelly.
YouTube started 2006. I think.
Regis and Kathy Lee. Sorry.
Oh yeah, it's true. 2006, I think YouTube started.
Shout out Rob, Meta Milky Way.
Rob. So
No internet.
Yes.
And
So how did
you
I
just
learn
learned,
that?
you
I don't
flopped
know.
around.
Listen, my father's a business person.
That's what I wanted to know. Does he like weed?
No, he doesn't smoke weed. He probably
your
has never
mom?
smoked weed. No. Maybe. Now. Sorry. Yes. My mom got into
A
weed.
legal converter?
No. Before, but like for pain and these things, like, when I
CBD.
was already medical. Yeah. By the time it was medical, she started when it was medical. So pre 2018, post 2014.
I love that.
What's your guys' first experience with weed?
Yeah.
My first experience, I was like 14. I was at Tremblant with my best friend and two guys from my camp, and we just smoked weed on a dock. And
Were you like,
I didn't
wanna
actually
do
get
this?
high. No, I didn't get high. Then the next time was about like 2 weeks later. I smoked with with the same friend, with her brother, who we smoked the joint in the backyard, and he came out halfway through and was like, "Rollers' rights, like what the fuck?" And gave us a lesson like right away. And then we sat there, and I think she ate like mayonnaise and cookie dough, and then we like lit some leaves on fire and
Mayonnaise.
And I remember sitting on the bed, kind of watching the TV.
disgusting.
I know she ate that. I did not.
That is the most.
But it
Hey,
was
you
like
can't knock it.
it was a full on, like we were stoned, you
You
know,
got
like for the
stoned as
first
fuck.
time. And then we sat on
Totally.
the bed, and I was
Totally.
like, I feel different, and I thought it felt good, and it took some time until I smoked weed every day, which happened eventually, probably before the end of high school.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yeah, me too. I was 14 as well. I think the first time we bought like oregano, so that's the classic story. It for sure happened, for sure. And like, I will resend this to like my crew, and this is why you're gonna have to comment now and say.
Remember those
I
oregano
just don't
days?
know that it was the very first. It might have been the second, but that's the memory we have. It happened, and then. Very quickly, this is gonna like really disgust everybody, but I don't care. We just moved to like bottle tokes, which was basically breaking the bottle. We posted once a video and putting our cigarette and like dabbing, the little piece of hash, and that's how we smoked every day for high school.
It's definitely better than the water bottle, which you probably used and I used because we.
Ugh, that's disgusting.
Yeah, that was how
plastic.
we did.
Or Coke cans.
Yeah.
Why wouldn't you guys just break a little hole in a glass bottle? You put
We
it
didn't
in
have glass
Yeah, we didn't
bottles
have
because
glass
everything
bottles.
came in a plastic bottle.
Yeah.
Oh, because I'm older, yeah.
My stepsister.
Rob, once again,
Gatorade.
Rob. Guys,
Gatorade
you
was
don't
the
even
best.
know. Look what I brought, a real film camera. So
I
we're gonna
love
go
that you
meta.
have
Oh,
this.
Rob needs to take a photo of all of us.
Oh, that'd be
We'll
great.
do it.
Okay,
We're
I
going
just
analog.
want to.
Sorry, Winnie. We can get back on track.
Well, no, I want to just quickly. I wanted to bring this up during the Terp talk, but
talk.
something that I was so interesting with your Miami Spice is when I hear spice, I kind of think of the like a pepper. You know, like I don't know. That's just my first.
Spicy.
I guess I think I speak. Yeah.
Or
but
do you
this
mean
was
like
this
like
was giving me like a
chai or
nutmeg.
spicy?
No, the chai
Right.
is like what this
That's
was giving
what the
me,
spice is.
which I've never
Yeah.
tasted before.
I agree.
I know.
I was waiting
Everybody's
for the
really
peppery.
loving this.
I was waiting for the myrcene. I agree with
Yeah.
you.
Right, guys? I know. I think we've onto something.
Totally.
But don't
That's
talk about it.
very cool.
Good
yeah.
call.
Just
But it's more complicated than that, as I explained before.
Well, you're diversifying the terp perceptions.
I think it's so interesting with the terps. Like I said, I think the one thing that nobody talks about, how each terpene just expresses itself so differently. You could have 5% terps, and that could be like each terp. First of all, you could count a zillion terps. You know, there's a lot of terps and everything, so you could keep counting forever. But also, you know, each of those terpenes might not be one of those strong ones. You know, certain essential oils, you can put them right on your skin.
course.
Other ones, you have to dilute them.
Yeah.
Like each one, like the percentage again shouldn't matter, and that's what I'm trying to say. So
the THC percentage
different
shouldn't
per
matter.
person.
no, but the terpene percentage too.
Right.
Like,
but isn't it an
based
overall
on
percentage though of like the amount of
but
terpenes
it depends
per
which
gram,
ones
though?
are in there and
Right.
how
So it could be a
fragrant they
shitty
are. Like,
if it was like. First of all, shout out to Bubble Man Marcus Richardson. I could only be here because of him and Amy, of course.
thank
But-
you, Bubble Man.
So
Thank you, Bubble
Mark
Man.
always
Bubble,
said
bubble,
like
bubble.
he would say like if you had 5% terps, like you couldn't even open the bag. Like it's insane, 3% or whatever. I'm sorry if I misquote you. By the way, I'm forgetting numbers, but the numbers I was like, well, what are you talking about? Everything's coming in 3%. He's like, it's bullshit. So I
Yeah.
don't know what's what because it is something.
That's what I was gonna say. I was gonna say, what the fuck is 3.5%? How are you gonna? What does that mean? What does that mean to me? I'm just saying as a consumer.
And
well,
then-
that's what I'm saying is that they want you to think the higher the number, the better. But I think there's just a lot of nuance. I'm not saying that's not a good general rule of thumb.
It's a good measurement tool for now.
But it's like THC, you know, yes, the higher the THC, the higher you should get. But there are a lot of other elements there too. And I think it's the same with terpenes. Like there's a lot of nuances within that. Even written on our package here, you see farnesene, caryophyllene, limonene.
I love
and
that.
farnesene, I think, is a really fragrant one, but I don't know that for sure. But I think because everybody is so into it, because it's so popular, because it has such a distinct smell, it gets stronger as you go down. Like,
Okay.
I'm no scientist,
Dude, this is
but-
the perfect bridge. You're totally right. I love what you're saying. I totally agree. You're making these decisions based on some data. I'm sure that you go over. You work your partner with Weed Me, or you're
Yeah,
you're
yes.
in that.
We are
Lots of
partnered
data.
with that.
No, but just to be clear, no, not just us. Anybody, you have 0 point of sale data. No, I shouldn't say that.
As a brand,
If you are paying data plans, you have access to particular stores like POS data, but that isn't giving you a full picture. Like in an industry, let's say electronics, through AC Nielsen, it's like the big box stores and I guess X percentage of independents submit their POS data so we can know average basket sizes are this. People who buy a TV in this price range also tend to throw in a Game Boy. I don't know. I
Even
haven't seen
things as simple
electronics.
as
This does not exist in any coherent way in the cannabis industry.
Oh my God.
Needless to say. So when you say
Thank
you're
you
working
for
off the
sharing
data, it's like that's just one thing. Amy and I could talk about that point for 3 hours and,
and
give
it
you examples.
was a bridge. You guys are a couple of geniuses, and you follow me into every rabbit hole. That was a segue into. I appreciate that. No, because what you just said is going to be an Instagram clip for sure. So thank you. It was a gem. but where I was leading to is you have a lot of. I mean, I've collected user data, community data at your home landing. I feel like I'd love to give a little bit of time to that. Other people's pop.
headquarters.
It's the first time I heard the name. I got it because it's like it's like free food tastes better, and it's like other people's pot is what I want to smoke. Especially as a musician, I go to a house party or something. I'm like, fucking send the joints over. Like I'll be freestyling. You send those joints over. Other people's pot. I love it.
Plus the OPP,
Yeah.
like which
You
is
know
our
what OPP
provincial
gets?
the song,
Plus
and obviously
OPP.
not to our.
They're
you
the
know,
ones who would
fine
bust you
people.
if you were high and shit. So it's kind of like taking it back. And the community, man, like honestly, like the platform has given such an opportunity to us as disciplined stoners to have moments of recognition and harmony and respect with the community, different members of them in different capacities. I feel like it's a fucking wild fluke. I don't know how much you want to talk about it, what goes down there, whatever. It's been really great to have that and
Thank
a
you.
necessary platform. And
Thank
every
you.
city should be so lucky. So can you tell us a little bit how that started? Because that's so cool.
Well, I can start at the beginning, which was like I purchased that warehouse to build a house, like a warehouse house.
So you own it.
I did own it, and then it's like COVID hit, and that was like the city. But in the end, I sold it to my brother, and we were approved on everything to build. So that was a good news story if he so chooses to do such a thing. But in the meantime, I think maybe don't say he might have buyer's remorse, but that's cool. We're great tenants. And so it was our office because we owned it, and it was like while I was selling it, we were also just like, let's just work out of here. Like someone comes and looks at it once a week or whatever it was.
And we never knew when we were going to have to get up and go because we were trying
So we
to
didn't
sell
paint
it,
the walls.
So we didn't do anything.
We didn't do anything. Like we'll show you pictures. It was just like rough. Like Colin, who worked with us, shout out to Colin. When he came in recently, he was like, "What the fuck?" Like we were in a warehouse. Like I had been renting it to an Amazon reseller beforehand, so it was just like nothing with the big table in the middle, not painted white,
Oh my
not
God.
painted roof, no windows. Like it's still a bit dark.
Yeah, the no
You
windows.
come out like to do the podcast for like.
But it's kind
Some
of a
people love
vibe.
that. Some people love no windows. Some
It'll be.
people hate
It's a winter evening place.
It is.
And we've been there in the winter evenings.
Exactly.
And it's been spectacular.
Yeah.
Okay, so I have been sitting on this question since you've created your event space. Obviously, there's been there's been some work that you've put in to get it to where
Not
it is.
much, really. It was just painting. It was so crazy. That's what's upsetting. It was literally just painting the brick white and painting the ceiling. So the few skylights there are reflecting, and it's a white brick.
Awesome.
And then we collected a ton of furniture.
Yeah.
Sick.
From like
Garage saled it up.
garage sale. I moved in the process. We've just collected. We brought our art that like wouldn't fit on our walls or that our people did.
Everything came out of storage,
It was-
and
yeah.
there's our
Dope.
headquarters.
And the more you bring in, the more it vibes up until a certain point we learned.
They're like, okay, Alison, no
We were
more stuff.
told.
But we do like have to, we're always on the hustle. So it's like we do rent the space. So
Yes,
if
we
you're
do.
out there,
And it's not just like, you can consume cannabis in there, which is awesome, but there's also a lot of other great things about it. The no windows is good for film, like, anyone in the entertainment. We're not specific.
Yeah.
Think
Dollars
about
are
it.
dollars.
If you need a space, think about these guys first, and also the community needs that support. So like, keep
and
it
all
steady,
community
keep the doors
events.
open.
If you have any ideas, like even not renting the space, but just to do a fun community thing that we think is awesome, then like come because like we can figure that out. We can work it out.
So we'll put a link in the description for
Yeah.
where you can contact.
You guys are good about that with your captions, like super profesh. I'm really super impressed. I am.
Buddy.
Like it's everything I wish I was. Like because like how much do I love a microphone? It's like rip it out of my hand.
It's good.
Okay,
You're
so
good on it.
if there was one thing that either of you could have known or like a skill or something that you could have had before you opened the space, the event space, what would it be and why?
Great question.
Well, I mean, if we're talking just specifically about having like a community space where people can come and smoke, I guess like a variety of things like carpets burn.
Yeah, they do.
Here's one. You need an ashtray outside.
Yeah.
And you have a
Yes.
stand-up
All
ashtray
thi-
like us.
Now we do. It only took like
A
yeah,
year.
we need a stand-up ashtray. It's like, but you're also launching a joint, working with clients, like amazing. Like a lot of times you've come, it's been because somebody else was having an event in our space, like whether it was Carmel or
That's one thing I
So
think.
it's like we love that. I mean, it's so awesome. We're like vibe out with us, and we're not even really working.
And it's
That's what we've learned. Yeah, it's better to open up our space, let others like do their thing in there, and that works really well for us.
yeah, you guys produced an event first that was like a nug swap.
Yeah.
That
idea,
was great.
right?
That was great.
So that was cool because that reminded me of the legacy days, what people would just do at 420.
That was so fun. I
Remember
love that.
420 Dundas Square and shit? Or
Yeah.
I grew up in Vancouver, so it was like the gallery downtown. And
Yeah.
like people just bring their sacks together and be like, yo, try a nug of this and give me a nug of that. And I was like, you struck the culture so properly for me when you like the one, like, I know that you guys probably produce more events, but I think that was the one that like got my attention. I was like, boom, like that's a good idea.
Well, it
And
was
it's
like Matt Murnau, who you mentioned
Yeah.
earlier, that used to do it at Vapor Central. So that's
Yeah.
what kind of got.
I
the
performed
idea.
on that show.
Awesome.
He's like he's fucking
Yeah.
so
But
legendary.
forget the neg swap for 1 second because my favorite event that I think I'm not sure if you guys participated in, but if you didn't, I think you did last year.
Karma?
No, obviously Karma Cup,
Puff
like
Mama?
the best, like that's OG. We'll go there. But this, like talking like a neg swap type thing,
Yeah.
is our scavenger hunt.
Do we do it?
Did you not do it? Okay,
didn't
so
do
this will
it.
be the 3rd year.
Idiots.
We'll pick a
Well,
date.
we must have been doing something like
We have like a major cash prize generally, so it's like well worth your time.
that. Okay, we're in.
Yeah. And then
Sign us up.
it's just basically running around the city, like looking at the list, being strategic. You could go super hard and like find the super hard things. You have to photograph them, like get it, all together, and then the person with the most points wins. But it's just like we
I will
had
win.
100 people running around last year and 70 the first year.
What's the
like it's
prize?
gamers. Last year it was $1,000 first
1,000
prize.
Benjamins or whatever.
Benjamins.
We're being pretty specific about like the language. Yeah.
Yeah, like I don't know. It's 1,000
It's
coupons.
1,000.
1,000.
What?
For
It's
fun,
1,000.
to have the best day of your life, and come smoke free weed at 420 midway through at OPP headquarters.
Well, like OPP got to be a stop every 420 when we're in Toronto.
Oh my
You know what I
gosh!
mean? Like that's like we landed there at 420. Remember?
Did you?
This 420. Yeah, I
Yes.
chose the
Wait a
song.
minute. Are you
spent
guys telling me
420.
you don't live here?
No,
I'm
in this space?
No, in Toronto.
No,
we
no,
live
we
in
do.
Toronto.
We do. Just I
you
go between
arrived.
here and LA.
Okay.
And like I
okay.
could
was like, where,
I could
where did
be
he go?
there anytime. Like it's like I
Right.
live my life like next month I may just you know what I mean
takes
depending
off.
I'm very
Who knows?
Well-
but maybe I'll get Winnie to come with me. But I'm saying when we're in Toronto,
Yes.
That sounds like a good
420.
idea.
I'm just saying it's I got
You 420.
I got
Okay.
to link with y'all
Yes.
on 420 when I'm
Yes.
in Toronto. Period.
No, 100%.
It
I
was
hear
such
that.
a good vibe. I loved your day party, your 420 day party.
We like a day party.
Me too.
It's
Us
like,
too.
why not a
Fave.
day party?
No fave.
Yeah.
That's my
Yeah.
dream. Like career, like just sell out mad stadiums, do all open air day shows. Fucking.
Why don't
like
we do
baseball
that?
games,
It's the
easy.
weirdest thing that we don't.
Because we want an excuse to go up and go out at night. I think.
No, but you
because-
wouldn't need to if you just like took your
Partied
drugs
in
and
the
had
day.
your party all day
And then rested at night.
and then
Yeah.
rested
Whoa.
at night.
Went to sleep at
Let's
9
start
p.m.
the
after like
movement.
starting, take some mushrooms at
Acid
9 a.m.
at.
We're
yeah.
talking weekends, everybody. Like obviously we
Not
get
today.
the work week, but also
do.
the work week
do.
is like, what does that mean? Do you not work nights anyways? So figure
I work
it out.
all day, every day, usually.
Exactly.
That's just being in with your passion. So that's another thing you guys
Yes.
have. You put
Lots
your
of
neck on the
passion.
line. You are like actively engaged with pushing the boundaries and making it better.
Trying.
Yeah, and like making new statements and like as a culture, as an industry, trying new things, evolving it. I mean, I guess it's silly at this point to ask why do you care so much, but have you always been so driven?
Right.
Or did this manifest as you got older, as you get more passionate about the plant, or are you just a perpetual kind of like killer like that? Both of you guys.
I don't know. I grew up like definitely in like a, I was not seen as a go-getter, I would say, in high school or
Okay.
anywhere, but definitely the culture I was in was. And I think looking back, I probably was more than I was given credit for in certain ways. I went to McGill, so that definitely gave me like a good work ethic, mostly watching the people around me. It was hard for me.
You can be the dumbest person at McGill. You're still like
Well,
19
that
times smarter than
That was
the
what my
average person.
dad said. My dad also said, like, go where the people are smarter than you, it can't hurt. And that was
Soak up
great.
that vibration.
But it wasn't until, I found cannabis that I like the cannabis industry that I ever would have thought I'd be, a founder of a company. Allison obviously has taught me so much and has believes in me, I think, in a lot of ways that
So
I
you like the
didn't know,
compadre.
but
You like the collaboration, the learning together.
needed that.
You got sparked, and then you're like, let's figure this out. That's
and
similar to me when
but
you
the
building
plant, the plant, like as soon as I started in the dispensary and seeing what was possible, and even like the fake Joe Louis, whatever the brands were that we were selling. Like, it was really fun. And, you know, there was obviously a lot of work to be done in that industry. So I think it just sparked something in me to say, like, I always smoked weed and I always thought, you know, I was told that was going to be the thing that held me back and that was lazy or whatever. But it's actually the spark that got me where I need to be. And
Disciplined
pretty
stoner.
funny. Yeah.
Disciplined stoner.
exactly.
I wouldn't
It
call
is.
myself disciplined, like, fully,
I would.
but yes.
You're out here moving.
Yeah.
That's right. For me, I would say, oh my God, not dissimilar to Amy. Like, it's like I could always do it when I needed to do it. So when it was time to, like, I might be a C student all through high school, but then grade 12, I got what I needed to go to where I wanted to go to university. And then somehow I got into a master's and started a PhD and thought I was going to be an academic. And then woke up one day and realized, like, the odds of you achieving this goal and then getting a job in a major city that you want to live in is like, you're pretty good at guitar, but you think you're going to be a rock star. So, but that was young, luckily. And so that's when my journey took me into, like, advertising and then Rethink Breast Cancer and cannabis. So I'd say, yeah, I guess I had it in me, but I never stopped to think about it. Like, I'm not a planner. None of this has a plan. It's just kind of like something. I think, Amy, you have this as well, and you two probably have this as well, and Rob, maybe you have this as well, which is something inside you does know that everything is going to be okay.
Yeah. Why do you think that is? What is that? What is that inside of us?
I think for each person it's different. Some may, like, have opportunity financially like I did growing up. So yes, I, could do those things academically when I wanted to, but I also had the opportunity with which to be able to afford to go to university.
I was going to say, there is privilege that's involved in it, obviously.
like,
and
all sorts of privilege.
Yeah. And
so
it's
is
like,
one thing, but there could
it's very
be many
fucking
other.
cool that you acknowledge
It's
that.
a good look to see that.
I mean, it's
Oh my
the
God, I've
reality.
always been grateful and known I was privileged. It's like, I'm so old. It's like when other people were like, now hashtag, it's like, oh wait, didn't we all know how that's why when being, as Amy said, like when you're something that they can designate you, like the world's first woman CEO of a public cannabis company, then you're in every single magazine article, like whatever, because they now
If
are
you
trying
have good PR people.
If you have good PR people.
Did you?
Yes, like
Nice.
the marketing team was amazing. The PR people were amazing. Rocket, others, like there was amazing. So you're doing all these things and they're always asking you, like, what was your experience as a woman? How could you become a CEO? It's like, first of all, when I joined the cannabis industry in 2014 by being part of like Weed MD and waiting for the application, like putting in all that and doing all that.
Can you explain real quick what Weed MD is for people that don't know?
Weed MD is like color. Do you guys buy color cannabis?
Color cannabis.
Or like Pedro's Sweet Sativa. I don't know.
Yeah, it's
what
a
their
licensed
brands are now.
producer.
Yeah.
It's
Yes.
like one of the original licensed producers who I
That
don't
was
know where they're
medical.
at, what they're doing now.
But that was medical back then.
Back
there
then, it was
no
they
rec.
didn't have their license yet.
Yeah.
This was like early 2014, late 2013, and then when the government was like, "Oh, we're not going to give out any licenses because the ACMPR growers had filed the injunction saying it's unconstitutional not to allow people to grow their own medicine," Health Canada went dark. And that's where Canopy became Canopy and Afria became Afria and Tilray became Tilray because there was 8 that were licensed and they quickly went public and raised money and we were waiting a year for the government to come back. And they did. And we were early and lucky and so many things. But this was next level lottery ticket shit.
I have a question.
Yeah,
for
yeah,
you.
yeah,
How-
for sure.
How long was it from like that time that Weed MD got licensed till legalization?
Well, that was 2000. Well, when did they come back to? So I start like with Weed MD, that
When
would
did the
have been
license
like
actually come through?
so early 2014. They had an inspection date. It was like January 28th or something, and they like alerted Health Canada to say their QA's father had died. He had to go back to wherever he was from, but they had another qualified QA, and Health Canada went, oh, okay, so we'll have to reschedule the meeting in like a month.
Right.
But they didn't come back for a year and a half.
Wow.
So, and to everybody, like, this is what was happening, and you'd be at conferences like MJ Biz, there was like 500 people there. That's it, the first year we were there. Most of them Canadians, right? So You know, so you were like Terry Booth, who started Aurora, like he wasn't one of those lottery ticket winners. So with like, we were all like, this isn't right. Like they have to get back to us. But the Health Canada went dark. And that's why we started buying US assets and getting licensed in Nevada and learning the US market. Cause it was like, we're not going to let these investors' money just get flushed away because the government has gone dark.
Money raised in Canada helped influx Las Vegas's legalization, essentially.
For sure. No, I mean, yeah,
like you guys
that
said,
money,
you
God
bought
only knows
American
where
assets.
that money went. I don't know.
Like that's wild. Like if you think about it, it's like consciousness reorganized the matter or the money, so it could still expand on like the
figured out how to
expansion of cannabis.
Yeah, for sure.
Cannabis finds its way.
Cool.
It's finding its way.
Yeah, that's sick.
Totally.
But hold on, though. This is an important
Like a
edge
mushroom.
to
Yeah,
the lesson
there's
is
caveat.
like, you know, how everything's like yes and that this is how life goes. It's like at the end of all that is like, but you don't really own that asset and you have
Right.
to
No,
be
you don't
local.
own
And so
anything.
then the person blackmails you for $250,000 when you're selling it to MedMen to sign over the license. You know, then that goes down because you couldn't legally just own it like a normal business.
Because
even
you
though that
were-
was pre-California going legal, you couldn't even be a for-profit. It's a long time ago. Things have gotten better.
Yeah, so this is like really good insight to like, I mean, we spent a portion of our time even being like, oh, the things we don't like about the industry, we wish this would change. But it's like, this is really good perspective on like, we're making strides and like things are getting ironed out and kind of like you guys are on the job. So
I'll tell you the number one thing that
So
is
sick.
like when people are shitting on the Canadian cannabis industry, if they're any other whatever, not Canadian, it's
Most
like
of it's from Canada.
here's the thing and the most of it's from here is like, here, let me tell you something about the people in Canada. If you are a licensed producer, you get paid 100% of the time because the government always pays your bill.
Yeah.
So you get paid to 30 to 60 days. We just had dinner with one of, I would say, the biggest brands in California. I was out in Northern California, had dinner with the CEO. They have $3 million in outstanding receivables. Like Herbal just went out of business because nobody's paying. So you hate the government. I get it. You think all these things, but like they pay, they're trying hard.
Wow.
And
That's
getting
all I'm
paid.
saying.
Yeah,
Really
like
nice. Thank you for that. Thank you. I think we need some water doused on that flame a little bit.
It's
Thank
true.
you. We're evolving. We're babies still.
And like we're doing pretty good actually right now. Like shit's getting better in terms of quality and stuff, and that's like that needed
that makes
to
it
that
easier.
needed to be first.
Yeah.
Right? Like you can't like ask for a bunch of like crazy like rules to be taken away when like the quality of the weed wasn't quite there yet. Like because we were, it had.
But
the
no, but I
legalization
will
was
say though,
pushed,
Winnie,
right?
I will say, and this is something I was lucky enough to sit on the Industry Association board and we got to meet with the Health Canada, like the head of each department 3 times a year. This is the benefit of being the only woman
do
in
they
the room.
care when you meet them? When you meet them, do you
fuck.
feel like they care?
Yes, I mean, yes and no.
Cool.
Like, yes, of course, as individuals, but they're also helpless as individuals because there's a system too.
Like teachers have to follow the curriculum. They can't even
yeah,
cross
like this
certain
person
lines.
can't do that, but they can help
Right.
you in certain ways. But I think the point is that it's we had presented at least way back in 2016 or 17, like alternate packaging that wasn't putting THC, that was safe, and all these things that we felt wasn't putting THC percentages as front and center, allowed for
Nice.
other things. But it's like, I don't know what's going to happen. Have they announced? Did I miss this? Have we not gotten? Weren't the regs changing? Shouldn't we be finding out about this?
I
Has
think,
something
there
happened?
was something has happened. I
Did
think.
it? Did anything
Or-
change?
I don't know.
I'm sorry, guys. Then you get older and you're like, oh, okay.
I
What-
know. I
are you
sent an
talking about
email, but I
age?
can't remember at
hasn't-
this
Are you like
time.
20?
I don't think anything came out.
Did something?
from it
Please
yet.
tell me. Just nothing's happened yet. Like
No,
they're
I
going
don't
to.
Are you
think
talking about
No,
packaging?
no.
Yes,
Well, just
I'm
like
saying
all
they
the
were
like they
revisiting the
did an
regulations
audit.
Because
that
why
would include the
can't they,
packaging.
like, when you buy a bag of weed in LA, like, and it's really nice art all over the bag, and then when you buy a bag of weed here, like, they can have their logo, like,
But
a
hold
portion
on.
of it? Like, why-
Rob, do
why
me a
you-
favor. Could you reach into my bag and grab a pack of cigarettes, please? And I'll answer
Oh, it's
you
the
why.
same.
Yes, we live in Canada.
But it's,
No, but it's not
they're
the same.
not the
This
same.
is actually better. So I think
that's my point.
that's-
right?
I
But
think we all
tobacco
actually
started
should
there.
just-
Yeah, like
I'm
maybe
not
it's
gonna
like
lie.
act natural,
Yeah,
act
natural
natural.
because this could be taken away. Like we have
Thanks,
a beautiful
Bob.
logo here, which you'll notice like Belmont, which I think was really cute logo.
I won't do the brand because it doesn't really matter.
No,
I'm
but-
sorry. I know I shouldn't
Oh,
smoke.
they
and it's,
force
like,
them to
terrible.
keep it generic.
Look,
But this
is
is
that an
every
alcoholic on the cover?
Every brand looks
That's
like
not
it's
even a
the
good
exact
one. Let me
same.
find you a better picture.
that looks brutal. That man looks
picture's
Every
a
sad.
good
brand
one.
has the
That's
same
not a
font.
bad one. That's the
There's
best
no
one.
logos. It's
This
the
is
same
the best
font,
one,
same
the
color.
crib.
All right, you're backing me
is
up.
better.
I like that. Respect.
That's just like we
Nice.
have
just some of
we
the
should just be
things.
fighting to keep this. I think we have to be realistic.
Respect
A little
it.
more realistic.
No, I don't agree.
I'm
Amy
just
and I will
asking-
agree to disagree on
I
this
know
one.
they're gonna take like
They're not
They're
taking
not
this
gonna
away.
take
It's
it
medicine.
away.
You can't say it's medical. Health Canada classifies it's medical
I just mean
and say
the-
it's the same as
The
tobacco.
logo.
I'm not talking. I mean the
logos.
packaging.
No, I'm saying they won't.
logos.
They won't.
They
they'll
won't.
allow
So
you-
if we just
so
stop talking about it, for sure.
I want to get this yellow part off. Because I just don't believe some of these things.
I totally
like they're not
understand what,
accurate.
like, the
Okay, that's
font-
not happening.
Here's
That's
the
not
thing.
happening.
They're adding
Okay, here's my balance halfway. Here's my deal.
Yeah.
Make the statements holistically true.
That would
'Cause
be really good. Like I
most
think
of the
that's something
things-
we could get done.
Yeah.
Like that to me sounds like something that's way more.
But it
Yeah.
it says cannabis
doable.
can
But again,
cause.
it
doesn't
also
say it
feels
does.
like don't draw attention to the whole thing because let's just keep at least to be able to have our logos and like
It's
things
a good,
like that. Which
thankful,
some
hey,
cigarettes
gratitude,
don't even have that.
respect. I dig it.
But
No,
also liquor,
no, and
liquor.
anger
But then the
and
other side of
action
things.
too.
Let's
Why
talk
are we
about beer.
complacent?
You guys don't drink, I don't
There you
think.
go, yeah.
There's no beer around here, but beer bottles, like all of that, looks beautiful right now. So I don't.
Oh my
think,
God.
I don't think we
And
should be
liquor
comparing
bottles,
ourselves to cigarettes. And
yeah.
if we
I'm just
reframe
talking
the
about other weed, like
conversation-
other consumer experiences I've had with weed. Like it gives an opportunity to people who are really down to invest in art for their products, similar to a music artist having cool album art that's engaging. That's just where I'm coming from.
No,
Like, when I-
100%,
when I go to
obviously.
the States,
Needless to
maybe
say-
there's a little THC sign, but it's like, oh, like Gary Payton is on the bag. So
We
I'm gonna
live
get that
in a
THC.
visual culture. I
Yeah.
totally agree. But what nearly pushed me over the edge, although I say that every day, is going to a concert at the, no, is it still the Budweiser stage? I think it's still
Yeah,
the Budweiser
it is.
stage.
Yes.
And I walked in, and I've been there last year. I don't know, maybe the alcohol regs must have changed and I'm not keeping track of them. And I was like, are you freaking kidding me? It's like, can be the Smirnoff blah, blah, blah bar is allowed now.
Yeah.
Bar after bar. Like, so each brand had a unique bar, not even within a bar.
An experience.
And the whole
almost.
thing. And like, they're checking your bag for weed, which oddly enough, at the Dead Show, they did take away Rob's weed out of his cigarette pack. And it's like, it's legal here. I can buy. Anyway, guys, I can't even get started. We have to take action. This is the thing. We're taking action. It'll be another episode because
Yeah.
Yeah,
We
well,
gotta
that's
get
what
an
we'll
it's
do.
update.
nobody's fault. It's nobody's
It's
fault, but
nobody's
it's time
fault.
to take action.
They're just following suit.
We just need to like get
Yeah.
Like
take
that-
action.
it's-
I don't know if they're still taking away your weed at like the amphitheater.
They didn't. Well, I went to see.
Well,
Sean
what are
Paul
they
the other
looking
day.
through? Yeah, I know that they don't actually. Like, nobody say they do. I've obviously never had it happen to me.
Don't
'cause I'm
manifest
not an
it. Yeah,
idiot.
yeah, exactly. Tuck
Yeah, I
it
just
in the
put
bra
it in.
or
I don't
in your
even
wallet.
I
or
don't risk
something.
it. I
Yeah.
don't risk it.
I have a hard pivot.
Okay,
Yes.
go.
Sounds good.
If you had unlimited money, but you had to use the OPP space headquarters that you have right now, and you could do like any theme, like anything you wanted inside the space. Do you have like a dream? Do you have like a fucking holy grail?
Oh yes, maybe. I don't know, Abe. Like, I'm just thinking like it's unlimited. Well, like it'd be great to make it like a cafe and like really like just have it be open all the time and be something that the community can just like know is open from, you know, whatever 11 to 6. So if like you have a meeting or you want to work somewhere or you're just feeling lonely, like you could just come and say hi, and if we're working we'll be like, stop talking to us, like we're working, but you're welcome to sit there. More likely be like, what a distraction. Oh my gosh.
Or like, I think we think it would be cool to have a store there, or
With a store, all
or
of it, cafe, store,
you know,
yeah.
some kind of like a, you know, a tasting tasting spot, but which it already is. But I think having a store and a workspace there would be really cool. The first thing I thought was like cool psychedelic party, but I think there's other things too.
I would get a pool in there.
Oh my God, that would be awesome.
Like that. Well,
I'd get like
pool.
a dark,
Thought
like
a
a
lot about
beach.
that
Yeah.
Oh no, if you
I
saw
would
the
fill it
drawings
with
for the space,
sand.
it was like a whole other thing. But that's if you were like tearing it down and just like building on the space. She's saying like, what kind of party would you want to throw in
I
that
don't think
exact
a pool
space?
I mean,
like,
The pool, where are you putting your pool?
yeah. So
It's gonna be a rectangular pool. and
But you
it's
have
gonna
to
be
like
filled with
build in the
sand.
basement.
the sand.
Yeah, the whole thing is gonna be sand.
Oh, like
we're
a
taking
sandpit
everything
pool?
out, and then the whole floor is sand.
With a beach pool. Like
Yeah.
with a
Oh my
But
God,
it's gonna
we
be
could
like a
probably
beach
do
night
that.
party.
like a Barbie.
Oh my God,
Yeah.
that would be.
Reminds me of
A
my
beach night
Barbie
party.
beach playhouse.
Yeah.
With like
What do you think
We'll
it
get
would
like a
cost
fake
to bring in
fire.
like a big dump truck of sand?
Okay, so you said something really beautiful and sweet because when she was you're talking about what you want to do with your space, basically, I'm like, it's like a church or a cafe church. And you said if someone was lonely.
Yeah.
And that's so true. And that's like sometimes we
my
just want to
God.
be around people, even if you're not talking with them, just be around people.
The saddest, like the
That's-
thing that's sort of like, I'm a very like sensitive soul, so please know that like
We're
I'm
all
just
sensitive
feeling
here.
that, yeah. So when the Karma Cup, for example, why I've always loved it. I love Sarah, and even going, from last year versus years earlier, I was sad because it was so awesome. And you might be like, that's crazy. It was so awesome. Why would you be sad? But the truth is, it's like seeing like their true patients and people who I know this is where they like have people that they see out in the world. I was just like, but it's all going. Like I can't. And so it almost at the same time felt like, and look, there's other spaces. We're not the only space in Toronto. And that's the thing. It's like, but how do you monetize everything you're doing is the way you've got to look at it as a brand and a business in
You got to
this
keep the doors open,
industry.
the lights on somehow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But no, that's a really beautiful way to think of it. I would love to see that dream scenario with the swimming pool manifest.
Me too.
And like you guys, it's
right now.
It's bringing quality and like it's vibes. Like right now, like tomorrow, let's get listener. Holler at us.
Do you
we had
guys
a call-in
meditate
show with you guys.
or like do any de-stress practices?
Or mindful, sitting still,
Yes.
visualizing. Yeah.
What do you do?
That's your person.
Do you want to go first, Sam?
I mean, I do yoga, a lot of walking.
Walking
with my
is
dog.
underrated,
Takes a
dude.
lot of
Walking
my
is
time.
everything, bro.
Yeah.
And yoga, and I have a Peloton that gets used sometimes. But otherwise, like, I go in and out of certain practices. I'd say meditation has served me very well, but I'd say not right now. Aside from my walking,
Yeah.
which does work for me.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's
me
like a
too.
flow state
Fuck.
practice. Yeah, you can like get into.
I used to hula.
I'm a
hoop.
huge walker. If you
That
guys
was the
looked at
best.
my app, you would be shocked because you'll see like, it'll say, I swear to God, we could pull it out 7 kilometers. And you'd be like, where were you? And I'll be like, I never left my house. So because I have so much energy, it's on calls. And I am like, I will show you. Amy will know I'm not exaggerating.
No,
So
I'm
my
neurodiverse as well,
movement
my friend.
is-
I run around my condo. That's like 700 square feet of a straight run.
But
I
I'm
fucking
aware
feel
enough
you.
to know that's not meditation. That's just like, a habitual
That is
way
not-
of like
especially
surviving.
when you're on the phone for like.
Yeah, things that are whatever. So I do walk a lot outside, which is great. I listen to podcasts. I try and
Do you
meditate,
think you'll
but
listen
it's
to
just
this
lots of
on a
things.
walk?
Yeah.
Hey,
Yeah.
have a really nice walk.
Hi. Are
And I
you
think
liking
for
your
both
walk?
of us, music is like a major form of meditation.
Yeah. It's flow.
Music.
So these are flow states. Yeah.
Yeah.
When we refer to meditation, it's to still the central nervous system and to kind of get in touch with your breath and then get to a point where you remember that this is like a simulation. So it's like to remove yourself out
It's a
of the
giant zoom out.
Totally.
yeah,
it's the
to
Matrix.
remove yourself from the ego's perspective.
Right.
Because when we wake up and we submerge ourselves in the daily tasks, something gets away from you and it feels like things can be out of your control. But when you sit and meditate in stillness, your physical nervous system settles. So
Totally.
then your mental system also settles. And
You know what
can
the
start
worst thing
fresh.
is I have to say about all this is like when you are have known this for years, like gone
It
through.
sucks to build the
and when you
discipline.
don't have the discipline,
It sucks so hard. It took me 2 years.
So
Took me
it's like
2 years.
imagine you have here. Okay,
You're trapped in
originally
your
my
own-
autobiography was going to be until this exact moment. I've procrastinated, and now there's a problem, like a short autobiography by Alison Gordon. But now
That's
I
the title?
Yeah, I thought that was the title until this moment,
Okay.
in which it could be. What did we just say? We said, oh, like a jail cell of self-awareness with no discipline.
You're trapped. Yeah. You're trapped. Yeah. That's funny.
Yeah.
I relate.
That's funny.
Yeah,
He's like, that's funny.
You are a contained mess, which is a beautiful thing. I think
That
as an
evolves
artist,
slowly. Maybe it's just a slower
I'm
evolution.
a contained mess. Sometimes uncontained mess.
Yes.
Like I self-abuse even to hit myself in the face sometimes.
Oh, no,
like,
no, that's not too bad.
I'm very diverse in many ways.
Awesome.
But I'm just saying, like the fact that you have it like on motion, like it works. Like the mess is beautiful. Like it's like you're dialed into allowing yourself to express enough, but like knowing where to focus it. So I think that's a really good balance if you had to choose.
And like incremental growth. That's what you said.
Oh, of
And that-
course.
And that's what's healthy. That's the good way to grow. Like a little bit at a time. You're not going to change
Yeah.
who you are. And it's
That's
a balance. Like
the
I
key.
always remind myself when I'm down on certain qualities that like I wouldn't have these other amazing qualities if there wasn't some balance there. And then, yeah, you can grow from that place. Like,
It's the best.
yeah.
Yeah.
I don't mean
I
if that
think
sounded like an insult. It
But
wasn't. I
also
was like, this
no.
is a
Yeah.
good
But I wanna
character
be
thing
really
for me because
clear.
the
Yeah.
grid is boring.
But listen, if anybody's listening, and I love your positivity, and in our world, we need people that are like, and why focus on the negative? But as a person that's inherently going to see, like, what could all the things be wrong for anybody, if anybody, I'm sure people will listen for you. Hopefully they'll listen for us.
Yeah.
Is listening. It's like, it's not all that to be a contained mess and be able to have the self-awareness if you can have the discipline. And that is something I dare say maybe for another time we can discuss, because I did take a break from smoking weed for 2 weeks and there were interesting observations. So it's a journey.
I
It's a
love
journey.
I love that. I
Stay
love that
tuned.
conversation. Yes, we will
Fuck.
definitely have to have that.
I know we could just talk for on and on.
Weed is such a forgiving friend. It allows you to go explore and
Oh,
like
yeah.
bring your things with you, bring your perspectives back.
And the people you meet. Oh my God, the people you meet. In the old days when you couldn't go into a store, really?
Yeah.
Around the world?
yeah.
When I just had that thought yesterday. It's like, oh God, when there's legal stores around the world, all those people that I've known for all those years, just because it was like, hey, I can see you're
taboo
smoking a
thing.
joint because you're in Spain or you're somewhere,
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah, so
traveling.
true.
Yeah.
the dream.
I had
That's the Budtender. That will be the Budtender you meet.
yeah,
along
that's
your
true.
The
way.
same people will ultimately, you'll get in, people are habitual.
But the
like, they'll go
taboo
to the
thing,
same
I feel
stores.
you on that. Like I was in Mexico and I gave this guy weed. We're still Facebook or Instagram friends to this day. Chino, he reposts my stuff all the time.
Right.
He's so sweet.
Right.
And it's like gave him that joint and weed connects you anywhere in the world and it feels so good. But yeah, no.
Good news is you could still go to like Malaysia and Indonesia and try and find weed.
Oh yeah,
and connect
Indonesia,
with
don't
people.
fuck around.
No,
I
I'm not saying don't do that.
Yeah.
But the joke is like, it's not like everywhere there's going to be stores. There are lots of places that you're still going to have to find your weed community
Yeah.
underground and figure that out.
Also,
Yeah.
like the legacy weed community, like I use weed as a medicine. I think there's a lot more of us like that. I self-proclaimed, well, fucked up, like in a cool way, my own mess, like I was saying.
Right.
And that attracted me. It was almost like the underground, like, you know what I mean? Like it was kind of edgy for me. It was cool because we were showing it for the plant because it was medicine and we connected on that. And like there had to be kind of a darker point to start from in order to heal. So it's very similar. I feel like the self-awareness that cannabis causes and the community that came from that sort of healing mentality, it almost rings akin to AA people. Like, because they got to be very honest, like up front. I feel like a lot of fluidity comes in communication. And yeah, and it's nice as that expands, but that was a benefit of legacy weed community too.
I don't disagree that weed has a certain high that seems to make it more accessible. And Amy, I think, can speak a lot more to this, but like that makes it more accessible to people to do, I guess, in their day-to-day lives than like, psilocybin or LSD or like a million that we can all name. and a million to come.
But I think it's also like dosage and what you do. I think we're seeing a lot of like psilocybin's an interesting one because I'm seeing people that wouldn't ever touch cannabis now.
Yes.
Microdosing at parties, like people who are athletes, people who have like,
Right.
different backgrounds. So I find that one, I'm really excited to see where that's going. And I think it's like almost, cannabis at a party versus a little bit of psilocybin, like dosage is important.
Oh my
me
God,
happy.
it's happening so
different.
fast.
It's happening so
Rob,
fast.
it is happening so fast. It's like weed, it was like such a slow burn. My whole life it felt like even since I like made it a career in 2014, like and we're not even there yet and it's like forever. And then these mushroom people are like, the illegal stores are already open. It's like, whoa.
Yeah,
Like
and that's where-
we waited a long time for those stores. Okay, fine. No, I'm joking
That's
because
how
I
it goes.
love it.
That's
I
the
want it. I
momentum.
want it. I
Yeah.
want it. I'm
Yeah.
joking. I take and love all these things. So I'm totally joking.
Yeah.
But
No, we
the
know you.
fastness with which it's happening is crazy. I don't know about, the decriminalization in certain jurisdictions like Colorado and
BC.
or Vancouver. I mean, I can't even follow
It really
all this.
keeps it, but this is where I'm going to come back and say, like, let's not talk, like, do we need to talk about percentages when it comes to mushrooms? Like, let's move away.
Oh, God.
Let's take some of our learnings from
Oh,
cannabis.
God, people.
And also the corporatization scares me. Like, these are
Yeah.
important tools for
But
Healing
but
and-
it's
and for
already
being a little bit outside of society, like other people's pot. The other meaning is like the other ones, like not exactly on the
Yeah.
main course. So I think like
the other ones. We're
don't-
both big deadheads,
Yeah, we love the dead.
so we work
And I love
today.
fish too. I was just
I
on Fish
know.
Tour, which you guys are
Ah.
laughing about.
Oh my
but
God, do you guys
I-
want to talk
anyone
about
else?
Fish Tour while I go outside to just like touch up my makeup?
Yes.
We can wrap it up.
Yeah.
Okay,
Oh my
cool.
God.
Yeah, it has
Okay.
been a
Like,
minute.
This has been really
Okay,
fun.
okay. Wait, we'll come back for
Seriously,
part
we
two.
could
Stay
we could
tuned.
obviously talk for
We
so long.
gotta have a
but-
part two. So
Yeah.
fun. Thank you so much for
Thank
joining us.
you,
Yeah.
We
guys.
went
Thank
so
you.
many places.
Oh my God, I don't even know
Thank
where
you
we
so
I
ended.
spoke about it before how like
Yeah,
you would all
it's-
end up going in a
You-
lot of different directions.
You
Yeah.
with
guys
this crew.
dove in.
Listen,
Thank you.
we're disciplined stoners because as disciplined stoners, we bring it back first as our discipline, which is
Yeah,
other
so
people's
tell us-
pot,
tell us,
Budtender's choice.
where can we
Just
get
check
it?
it on the OCS buy sheet if you're in retail or a Budtender
In Ontario.
or you can buy it at your local retailer.
Can they get it in other provinces?
Not
Not
yet.
yet.
This
Not
was
yet.
our first drop.
Okay. but
Yeah.
keep your
Oh my
eyes
God.
peeled.
And there'll be more. We've got an indica coming. There'll be variety packs.
Let
Like,
us know
it
if you
takes
want
time.
it in your province. Like,
Yeah, if you want
tell
it.
us.
Ask for it.
Ask
for it.
for it.
And your events, where can people follow up about that and these cool experiences? I mean, we're going to have it in the
Well,
description, but
Yeah.
Yeah,
Instagram.
say it out loud.
I'd say sign up, like first and foremost, because we know Instagram's awesome, but it's like fickle in this industry.
Yeah, so make
Sign
sure you
up.
go to otherpeople'spot.com and give us your email address. And yes, we're gonna like send you things and just deal with it. It won't be a lot
Yeah, and then, but it won't be a lot. You'll like what you get. And
because otherwise it's like you're at Instagram's mercy.
but still follow us on Instagram.
Follow us on Instagram.
Which is
Yeah, gotta build the community.
because you got your account back though.
We
Twice.
did
Twice. So
Twice.
what is that one?
At Other People's Pot.
Okay.
Or at otherpeoplespot.opp is the backup.
Yeah.
And
It's good of a backup.
follow both of us. You could find us on there, and we do lots of fun.
And you
stuff.
guys, obviously, are following. But we're going to be sharing this with our community. So if you don't follow these guys because they're awesome and they're working hard, building content, doing it week after week, going through it. And it's like, whatevs. That's how it starts, people. That's how it starts.
All of our links are going to be in the description below. Remember to smash that subscribe button, please. If you like this episode, share it with a friend. And thank you so much.
Thank
That
you,
was
guys.
like, this is crazy big deal for us. Like
Yeah,
you
this
guys
is
are
amazing. I'm so
nuts.
glad
really
this.
fun.
So
No,
thank you.
you guys.
That we go
That was
back a
fearless.
long
Stoners.
time.
Yeah, we do.
What's your
We
discipline?
dove in.
Welcome back.
You're a stoner? That's cool.
Peace.
Bye.
So are we.
Holy.
I'm high a lot. It's weird to finally say that with pride. I'm high a lot. Being high has helped me with my anxiety. It's helped my social skills. Well, it's helped me feel okay about my shitty social skills. It doesn't make my social skills better, but it sure does make sitting in that awkward moment in a social interaction a lot more bearable. You know, that moment where no one in the group has anything left to say, and you desperately want to yell at all of them, just say something. Being high makes that hilarious and not torture.
Yo, it's Ellevan from Anger Town. This plant just helped me chill out. Found focus, found confidence. All of a sudden I was productive, less protective, more progressive. Yeah, we talk about stuff like I'm a next sommelier, but this is about a medicine, baby. We wish everyone a mindful life. It's been a helpful tool for us. And whatever the route to peace, it's each individual's journey. And the more we communicate, maybe we can all help each other out. Love and light. Welcome to Disciplined Stoners Podcast with your host Ellevan.
And my name is Winnie.
And we are the gateway drug to mindfulness. And that's Ralph. Bro, what you know about it? Couple levels up when I move and I go.
One day we're gonna do a collage of all the times like a brilliant person just said like it's medicine.
Cannabis is a gift from Mother Earth.
Cannabis helped to heal me. Those natural medicines that we use to help to heal us. And of course they have this euphoric effect, or can.
It's an alternate natural way of healing. And I just think it's so beneficial, and there's so many good properties to weed.
I mean, that's the only difference in my life is I've added cannabis. The amount I've changed and the way our family has evolved and our relationships with my adult sons and everything, like just all through cannabis it's been amazing.
It's part of my life. Like you said, you really can't separate me and the cannabis plant. I use it medically.
Yes.
I have fibromyalgia, diagnosed with fibro very, very young, and I use cannabis to treat my fibro very effectively.
It was through an event that caused her major anxiety that I got her to take a few puffs.
Yeah.
And it helped.
Yeah.
Right? So, you know, from being up here to being able to cope.
You know, we've got naturopathic medicine and natural health products that rely on hundreds of years of traditional use.
Yes.
Which, you know, both cannabis and mushrooms technically fall under.
Yes.
If you can keep it at that sweet spot and it's in a healthy way, I feel like that's
it's medicine.
Yeah, I think
it's medicine.
You have to check in with your life and be like,
medicinal.
It felt like it complemented my personality.
Yeah.
Almost.
Good answer.
It's okay to use cannabis as their medicine. Mm-hmm. They no longer deserve to be in classrooms and hear that they're using drugs and they're bad, when this is medicine that is saving their lives.
Yes.
I mean, I would never put anything on the market that I wouldn't give to my mom or my grandfather.
Those strains are fantastic for pain management, nausea. This helps with pain management.
And I feel fantastic. Like I feel great. Do I attribute it to cannabis and cannabis oil? Absolutely, I do.
Relationship to cannabis right now is beautiful, growing, most probably everlasting.
I think this is medicine.
Dude, 120%.
I've got ADD, and I'd use cannabis to help kind of focus me in and kind of turn things off. Like, it very much is medicine.
It was medicinal for me. It was like taking a medicine because that's how it worked.
And that's on. Good night.